Alright, are we back? Is it working? I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. What's up, guys? I'll get this down eventually. I've been trying to use my webcam mic, but it was trying to use this one, I guess. What's up, guys? I've been thinking about doing a Twitch stream. I want to play video games and have people watch me. I think it'll be funny. What's up, Alex? We got audio. We're good. Am I loud? I don't know. We'll find out. The weather is actually, it's really humid here. It's really hot. But it's been kind of rainy this summer. I don't know. It's like an off and on. It's either like raining or it's just blistering hot and humid. What's up, Puppet Master? Cool, man. I play StarCraft 2 some. I used to be in a like Diamond League or something in twos. Oh yeah, I mean you're in Florida. That's like the worst humidity ever. It's like breathing bath water. I am going to get Destiny 2. I played the hell out of Dead Space. That game was actually kind of creepy. Tegan is asking if I've ever flown a Vortex. I did actually like 2 years ago. It's actually pretty cool for what it is, you know, but I mean, it's kind of old now. So it's a really old and heavy quad, but it flies good. It's really cool for a beginner quad. Yeah, dude, I played Dead Space 1 and 2, and I normally don't get scared, but that game, it wasn't really scary. It was more of just like intense, like stressful. Hell yeah. Let me know what you think of the flight controller when you get it. First of all, if I did do a Twitch stream, would you guys watch it? That would be the question. I played the first Fear, and that game was like really weird. It was like paranormal kind of. You'd be like running around, and it'd be like Call of Duty style. Then all of a sudden, like weird ghost crap was happening at the same time. It was really weird. I don't even remember what my kiss rates were. I know my RC rate was like around 1.8, but that's about all I remember. Joe Max is asked is he wasting time on Horizon mode? Uh, I don't know. I think everyone would answer that differently. I actually learned on Horizon mode first, and then I switched to Acro like a month later. But some people have a lot of luck just going straight to Acro and crashing a lot. I mean, you'll learn a little faster, but you're gonna crash more. So it's whatever. Dude, it's funny that you mentioned Tekken 7 because I've been really wanting to get a fighting game lately. And of course, my arcade machine, I have all kinds of old school fighting games, but I also want to get the big one running Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7 and Guilty Gear and all those kind of games. And I've been watching a lot of competition like Street Fighting and Tekken 7. It's so funny watching these guys like it's like super intense world championship and they're just like totally raging out and getting all pissed off. It's so fun. I haven't flied the or I haven't flied. I haven't flown the Armaton Chameleon. Um, Legit. I don't know. I know Armaton makes a lot of frames. I'm sure it's good. I'm gonna play around with streaming more in Twitch because I think Twitch is probably a better streaming platform. So I want to play around with that and maybe even use like a tablet or something so I can do it remotely and I can go like into the piano studio and like show you guys piano stuff or show you guys airplane stuff instead of just always being in front of my computer. It'd be kind of cool to play around with that. So. Bash FPV asked me what charger or chargers I use. I use the Venom. Venom has like a touchscreen charger. I can't even remember what it's called. I use that, and I also have an iCharger from Progressive RC. I think it's the 410B or something. I don't know. It's one of those. Johnny Wall wants to know what the best racing frame is. Any lightweight frame. But really my frame. Yeah, I hear people mention the Hyperfloss. I'm just not a fan of the design. It looks like it's going to explode on impact, but I'm just basing it off of a Google picture. I have no clue. I don't use any flight controllers in my 3D planes, but I do want to play around with that. I haven't tried the RunCam split yet, but I have one coming. I also have their new like Swift 2 Mini or something coming as well that I'm going to play with. So I live on the East Coast, so I definitely will be taking some road trips up and down. How many hammers does it take to smash a Skitzo frame? Depends on what kind of hammer. A rubber mallet? I don't know, probably a lot. What's up, Timmy? I haven't seen the aluminum frame. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Sounds like it'd be heavy and it would bend. Best way to learn 3D fixed wings is Twisted Hobbies. TwistedHobbies.com. They make the best foam planes ever. And that's how I learned. I would fly out in my front yard, kind of doing knife edges and flying around trees and stuff, and then I got into the big guys. So, Alex, you should get a Skitzo frame. It's awesome. She is not feeling well. A couple of you guys have asked. I don't think she's like in the mood to be in front of the camera tonight. Crack Yak, yeah. I have a crack laser too. It's freaking awesome foam plane. I was 34 when I first got my, or 35 when I got my first drone. 34, I think. Not you, Dalton. You should get one too, though, Alex Dalton, if you want one as well. It's a great frame. I'm about to update it too. Daytona is asking where my girlfriend or wife is from. She's my girlfriend, and she is from Atlanta, but her parents are from Korea. Winter is coming. You do need a Skitzo hoodie for that. Unfortunately, there's only like one that exists. I don't know where it is. Dude, we're all old. I feel old too. I'm approaching 40. No, not North Korea. Do I have, okay, so Jesse asked, do I have an opinion on bottom plate arm sandwich versus unibody frames? Apparently unibody frames are less prone to vibrations, so meaning they don't vibrate as much. But the problem with unibodies are, the two drawbacks to unibodies are you can't cut as many frames per sheet. So in general, you know, because you have to cut out the whole unibody and you have like a 2 by 2 foot sheet of carbon, you can only cut like one frame out of that. So it's more expensive to produce, and second of all, if you do break an arm, you have to swap the whole thing out. It's just kind of a hassle. But unibodies are actually pretty awesome in every other aspect, though. So, but if I had to pick, I would. It's just better to have independent arms overall, you know. I've only flown one set of dowel props in my life, and that was recently, and they actually flew pretty decent. And I don't know, it was I went out somewhere flying and I forgot my props, and this dude next to me was like, "Here, try my dowel props," and I flew them, and I was actually like, "Dang, these actually fly pretty good." I don't know what kind they were though. So Jake is asking, what FPV wing do I prefer? I don't know. The flight test ones are cool. Like the Arrow that I built with them. That's a really cheap one to build. And also Sweep Wings makes like really high-end quality wings. So I'm apparently have one coming to me, and I'm excited to check it out. Why, Jesse? How did you lose your Space One frame? You're not supposed to land on roofs, man. You're supposed to punch through them like a meteor. Sly. I'm just gonna call you Sly FPV because I don't Slide to be. I don't know how to pronounce it. He asked what receiver do I run in my goggles. I like the standard Next Wave one if you're just wanting to do, you know, Fat Shark band. I ran that in my Dominator V2s for years and had no problems. But I'm using the Furious module now, and I don't know which version it is, so I can't answer that. I think it's the V2 maybe. LaForge is also, you know, Steele and Kevin, all of them fly LaForge, so I am 80. I'm 80 years old. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do when my Sweep Wings wing comes in. I'll probably do a build video on it. I haven't had any problem with Furious. I don't know. Slide bee. I don't know how to say it. I haven't been to Vermont. What's up, Quebec, Canada? Alright, don't you guys speak French? That is not how you spell by. It's not slide by. The solar eclipse, that's the big thing everyone's talking about. Yeah, I guess that is. I guess I was looking at it kind of like rugby, but slide by. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going. I think with the eclipse, I'm gonna pull out my telescope and probably go, I don't know, on a mountain somewhere and take some really cool photographs of it, or maybe even video. I might do a time lapse of it. That could be cool. I don't really think there's anything cool you can do with a quad during a solar eclipse, you know? No, I'm not related to Steele. Yeah, I have a protective lens. Yeah, I have a filter on the telescope. I'm not gonna stare at the sun with a telescope and instantly melt my brain. I was actually thinking about coming to South Carolina or Nashville or something like that. I don't know which way. South Carolina is probably gonna be better. I think it's a total eclipse in South Carolina. Hang on. Burn the retinas. Salty CD says, do you fly line of sight? RFPV on your plane. I don't know what that means. Or I think he meant or. Have you ever tried head tracking camera? I haven't tried any of that. I haven't tried any FPV plane stuff. But I've seen some really cool videos of it with head tracking, and I do want to play around with it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Um, okay. Well, someone's asking what telescope I have. It's a refractor. It's an 81 millimeter William Optics. I guess 5 element um, refractor. So it's pretty awesome. It's got field flattening and everything built into it. So when you take a photo, you don't have any weird, um, whatever you want to call it, towards the edges of the picture. Tegan, my life is good. How's yours? Dude, I want some nachos. Binky Binks. Oh, there she is. Hey, my girlfriend's in the chat. That's funny. Alex Hendo asked, do I ever get worried about strapping your battery to the bottom? I haven't had any problems with that. I have had a couple of cases where I pancaked really hard on the pavement and kind of, you kind of shift or dent the cells a little bit. But for those of you that don't know, Binky Binks in here, that is Autumn. So don't let her try to troll you. Styles, what do you mean about he's asking what do I think about the whole quad bashing thing? I don't know what that means. Oh, are you talking about the multi-GP hammer thing that caused all kinds of memes? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put that out there in case you guys really don't know that, but if you're going to look at the sun with binoculars and or a telescope, obviously put a filter on it because you will burn your eyeball instantly and be blind. So don't do that. Make sure you have a special filter on it. I'm just going to hope that all of you guys have logical enough brains to not do that. Bandito, what's up, dude? Did I say that? Bandito? I'm so bad at pronunciation. My favorite prop is still my old school HQ props, the 50-40 5x4x3, and I guess the newer V1S props that are 5x4.3, but I guess there's a 5x4.6 that's on its way to me that I'm going to try out, but those are my favorite right now. Yeah, someone asked a battery question earlier. Like, I don't know, in my opinion, batteries are batteries. It really comes down to how heavy they are and how long or how many cycles can you get out of them. That's really what it comes down to. Everything else is just like almost all of these batteries are coming out of the same factory. The cells, almost every single one of the cells and all the batteries are made from Genzace. So they're virtually all the same. So, but sometimes, some of them like last longer than others. Like sometimes I'll fly like 50 flights on a battery and it'll start puffing. But also there's other factors at play, like how fast do you charge it, like how many amps are you charging it. Do you commonly go under the nominal voltage, things like that. So all of those kind of play into a factor of the lifespan of your battery. Yeah, tattoos are pretty good. They seem to be heavier. They seem pretty heavy. Jacob Shore wants me to explain the multi-GP hammer thing. Okay, so I don't really know much about it other than what I heard from other people, but because I like to stay away from drama as far as possible. But apparently there was an individual at the multi-GP Muncie race, and I guess I don't know, like either he wouldn't turn off or he kept plugging up on someone's channel while they were racing, and it caused someone to lose their quad entirely or something like that, and eventually he just got mad and picked up the quad and smashed it as opposed to like unplugging it, and I don't know. So it caused all kinds of like issues online because people are like, that's destruction of personal property, which it kind of is. It's no different than me grabbing like the radio out of your hands and smashing it. So I don't know, but apparently he sorted it out and got the guy a new quad, and I don't know, it seemed like everything's fine, but it caused some drama. So graphene batteries is, I think that it's like the chemical makeup is different, and you tend to get less voltage sag with graphene batteries because of that chemical makeup. But it's kind of interesting. Like where most batteries, you'll just see a gradual decline in power over time. Where graphenes kind of stay the same power, and then all of a sudden they just fall off. Like you'll just be flying, and all of a sudden you'll just fall out of the sky. So you got to be careful on, you know, how long you've been in the air. And also, graphene tends to weigh more than a standard battery as well. So there's things to consider there. Yeah, I mean, if you guys know more about what happened at the multi-GP, feel free to chime in. I mean, some of you might have been there. I don't know. I wasn't there. No, graphenes don't need a special charger. The only things that need special chargers are like the high voltage packs. Not all chargers can do that. What up, Biggin? What up, T-Lock? What's the best llama corn rating for a battery? I don't even know what that means. Is that like a Rebel battery comment? I don't even know what that means. Delicious Killer, what do you think about Stingy's new frame? I think it's well thought out, you know. He showed me pictures of it during development, and yeah, I think it's a really cool frame. The only thing negative I have to say about it, as well as the Alien, is there's a lot of hardware, and I don't like that. I don't like, the more things you add to a frame, the more things with anything, like in airplanes too. I'm the same way. I mean, the less amount of stuff you have going on, the less amount of stuff that will mess up. So you're just adding a lot of things that you have to, you know what I mean? It's just like a lot of little pieces. It's like, would you rather have one giant Lego piece, or would you rather have a bunch of ones put together and like it hits a wall, it's gonna like, that's just like my weird logical brain thinking. I'm not saying that his frame is going to break at all. It's probably a freaking tank. But I'm just saying, like, I don't like all these little intricate pieces, you know. I don't know. That's just me. Honestly, I prefer a unibody setup. Just 4 standoffs and psh, the thing's done. You're ready to build it. I am working on a ready-to-fly quad. I was thinking about that, and I made a post on Facebook about it. And seems to be something that people are interested in, so I think I'm going to do it. What up, Wild Willie? Vortex, Ladrib, Wild Willie. What do I don't deserve all of these famous people on my stream. Aren't like, isn't Wild Willie with Ladrib right now? No way Steel would ever show up here. That's funny. Tilted Monkey asked you, how do you get over progression slumps? I actually went through this like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. There's a couple factors. Experiment. Try different things. Play with your rates. I actually talked about that in my rate tips video, where I talked about the concept of like holding the radio higher or holding it down, experimenting with pinching versus thumbs, lower your expo, raise your expo, change your rates around, try different things, try KISS, try Betaflight, try Raceflight, try a different radio. I mean, all kinds of those things, even taking a break. If you're flying like all the time, I took like a month off and I came back and killed it. So, I mean, I was always paranoid that if I ever went more than like a couple days of flying, that I would like lose my, you know, abilities or something. And it turned out to always be the opposite. I always came back with a fresher mind, you know. So try, or you know, some guy says try hard drugs. That might help too. Wild Willie's my favorite vlogger. Duh. Are you and Co-Nasty friends also for Dribs and Wild Willie? I'm friends with LaDrib and Wild Willie. I've met Co-Nasty once, and he seems like a cool dude. I don't really know much about him other than he's on Steel's, like, podcast. What's the best 5-inch frame? That's so hard to answer. There's a lot of good frames now. The best setup for racing, I would think, something that's ultra lightweight, underslung battery, and probably some kind of ridiculous high kV motor setup. Just something really lightweight. Alright, fine. I'll call Steel. Parker, of course, we all love you. Hey, what are you doing?
Watching TV. What are you doing?
People wanted me to call you on my live stream, so say hey to everyone.
Do what?
People wanted me to call you on my live stream, so say hey to everyone.
Oh, okay. Are you live right now?
I am. You can tell people to buy your motors or whatever. Go ahead.
That was my diesel starting up. You should buy Skitzo's motors and Skitzo's frame.
No, you should buy them mustache motors.
What are you doing? What are you live streaming about?
I don't know. I just every Tuesday night I do like a Q&A where people can just like blow me up about questions, and they ask me the same thing almost every time. It's funny.
What is the same question?
They'll be like, what do you think the best racing frame is, or what do you think about the new Betaflight? I'm like, I haven't flown Betaflight in forever. I don't know like what you. All I've heard is that.
You're really, really true fan.
I know. And secondly,
such a true fan.
The only thing I know about Betaflight is that I might go to the hospital if I turn my quad on. That's about all I know.
That is the reality, apparently. I see people's faces chopped off. I'm surprised no one's chopped their nose off.
Are you talking about the guy in the cheek, like the Rotor Riot post?
No, I haven't seen that guy.
Oh, dude, it looked like a picture off a Gore webpage, like on the. I don't know. Apparently, Betaflight has it.
Have you showed him your freaking Halloween mask? The one with all the teeth? That's like super scary.
Yeah, I think they've seen that one.
Holy shit. Well, if they haven't, I just ruined it. You're going to have to go get it and show people now.
I don't know if they've seen that one. Yeah, anyway. Alright, you flying tomorrow or what?
If it's not raining, maybe.
It's not going to rain. Are you flying tomorrow or
I
not?
also might be ripping. I didn't bring anything with me. I'd have to go home and get it.
Okay.
I'm at my parents.
It's not going to rain, by the way.
Okay. Well, possibly this. Possibly.
Alright, we're going to try to get Steel to go fly tomorrow. We'll make a new video.
Wow, shit pickle.
Hey, Wild Willie says it sounds like you're bitching out already.
I am, kind of. I don't ever fly anymore.
Who's got time to fly when you got badass vans to mod?
Dude, my buddy came over today with his freaking Bug-Eye WRX with an STI swap in it. And, like, it makes me want to sell the shit and buy a fucking Subaru again.
See? That's how it is, though. That's always how it is. It's a trap. Don't do it.
I want a fast car again.
I know.
I have a van and a fit.
I know. Steel wants to get a fast car again.
Slammed and make like 300 wheel and be like fun to drive in the mountains.
Well, you have a van, so you kind of have that covered. I guess you could have a fast car now.
Yeah, good. I got no women in my life. I got all the time and money to spend. Yeah.
Dang. Hey, this guy says Evos are better. What do you have to say about that?
I'd say I don't disagree, but I prefer STIs.
No, the new STI is kind of cool looking. Are you talking about the new one?
Your car.
Like the newer one or the old STI?
Oh no, I don't like the new ones. I like
The new.
I'm not buying anything new. I like the GT body style.
Yeah, the new STI looks like a grocery getter, all-wheel drive.
Or 2 to 07 body style, regardless of the front end.
Yeah, with the Momo steering wheel and the Momo seats.
02 to 07, it's all the same. They just changed the front end. It's the GD chassis code, and then they went to GR.
Hey, Jesse says you should get a Hellcat. Quit messing around.
I should get a what?
A Hellcat.
Fuck Hellcat. Fuck America. And
Hey.
all that shit. I think Coyote is the only thing American I would buy.
All right. I'm getting a lot of all-wheel drive Talons. I mean, the old school all-wheel drive Talon was kind of beastly.
I'm not buying anything
I know.
older than 2002.
Yeah, I know. Especially turbo. Screw that. All right, cool, man. Well, I'll ping you tomorrow.
Alright, man. See you guys. Have fun with Skitzo. I'll talk to you guys later.
Later. All right, there you go. We called him. Yeah, me and him will always go through this. Well, I always go through this like, I'm going to buy a sports car, and I buy a sports car, and I put thousands of dollars into it. Then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bored of this. I kind of need a truck now because I want to like do kayaking and be able to tow my airplanes around and stuff. So then I buy a truck. Then I miss having a sports car again, and then I go back and forth. I need to just do both, but whatever. A Chrysler LeBaron, yeah, that's what he should get. Dude, okay, on all, like, you know, he obviously hates American cars, but all jokes aside, my buddy has a Hellcat, and that thing is scary fast. Like, it made me sick. I sold my Mustang. No, it was the GT. But I've been eyeing the new Corvette ZR1 that's coming out. I think it's coming out at the end of the year. But that would be cool. Steel is vegan. I don't know about how vegan. Are there different levels of veganism? I made that up. Are there different levels of vegan? I don't know. Dude, the Godzilla Nissan GTR. Dude, the thing is, I've always been a Skyline fan. Like, the Skyline was always, like, the dream car when I was in high school. And the GTR came out, or Godzilla as they call it, or nicknamed it. And I don't think, what's up, baby? I don't think, I just never really loved the look of the GTR. What's up? Yeah, we are. We'll do this for 10 more minutes. I got to cut the stream a little bit short because I promised my lovely wife that we would do movie night. So why don't you put on that mask? I don't know.
That thing?
Yeah, can you put those on? Are you scared?
No, as long as I have it on me, you don't have to.
They want to know what movie we're going to watch. That's a good question.
Hey, what's that?
I think we should watch a scary movie. What do you guys think?
I don't think so.
No? I love scary movies and she hates them. So there's a...
Should I put this one on?
Can you not stream at 4:15 a.m.? Look, it's not my fault that you live across the world. You can try to put that one on.
Is this one easier?
No, put that one on. I think the world needs to see... They think we should watch The Conjuring 2, and I absolutely
not.
agree with that statement.
No.
That is a
that's
good
not
movie.
a thing.
Alright, you gonna figure out how to do that?
No.
Alright,
How do I do it?
just pull it off.
Like just straight off?
Yeah, just rip its head off.
Really?
No. I didn't mean like really rip it, but
How do you get it off?
I don't know. Just, it's rubber, so you... Alright, give me this thing. How do you... I don't remember, it's been a while.
Then we're gonna be able to take it back off?
I don't know.
Stuff like
Are you gonna be
that.
permanently stuck like this? I think that might happen.
You're gonna go to bed with that thing?
You mean you're gonna sleep on the couch?
No, I'll give you all the kisses. How Oh, it's so heavy. Oh my
That's what she
gosh.
said.
It's so heavy. How do you do this?
I used to have an Evo 10, but I sold it.
Is it totally gonna jack my hair up?
I don't know if you. Yeah, you can't do it with a bun on. Are you kidding me? Yeah. What do you?
Should I put
So you're just gonna have like this weird knot, like the old Jason Voorhees, like when he comes out of the lake and he's all like his head's all tumored.
I mean, if you had a beanie or something, I feel like this would probably work.
Slide by. Ask what's my favorite horror movie. Ooh, gosh.
Looks like this one. I'm gonna try it anyway.
I don't even know, babe. You gotta take the bun off. Just level your hair down.
It'll flatten out.
There you go. No one's gonna see. My favorite horror movie. I don't know if I can answer that now.
This is kind of fun.
I would say this is gonna sound weird, but I absolutely loved, obviously, The Conjuring. You know, like in terms of like lately, that was one of the better ones. Super excited about the new It movie. But I'm gonna have to say, huh? I do have a beanie
Where?
somewhere. I should have several of them.
Right.
You're gonna be funny. She's gonna be like some weird, scary-looking monster with boobs.
Really?
I've got a. Have you guys ever seen a movie called Sunshine? It's a sci-fi horror. You should check it out. It's a good movie. But honestly, I think just because I love sci-fi and I love the horror like aspect, I'd say Event Horizon is up there with one of my top. I don't know, like just really cool concept. It really played on the concept of So here's the thing. I love a good slasher movie. I love a good like paranormal movie, like with demons and possessions and that kind of crap. I mean, all those are fun. But the concept of Event Horizon, the concept of this spaceship that could bend space-time and travel through wormholes, and the concept of the movie, I don't want to give it away, but essentially they designed this ship that it has some kind of crazy magnet thing on it, and it can bend space with it and travel through the hole. So think of, the common space travel, you go through the hole and you're at the other side, and they lose communication with the ship when they do that, and the testing crew and everything, and then they finally, like years later, they find it drifting out somewhere, and they go to the ship to recover it, and there's a rescue crew that gets on board, and everyone's dead, and there's no sign of anyone, and they basically they start figuring out that this, when they went through a wormhole, they kind of went through hell in a way, I guess, or what we would think hell is. And yeah, maybe I did spoil that for you. Okay, I kind of spoiled that. Sorry, but is it awesome movie? Yes, Event Horizon. I don't know anything about the RunCam split except that I don't like that you have to run a separate board to record to, but I don't know what the quality of it is yet, so I haven't played around with it yet, but I'm getting one to play around with it. Chuki is like, great, now I don't need to watch it. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in between, but man, so awesome. And Sam Neill is in it, the guy from the original Jurassic Park, and he does an excellent job. It's such a good movie. So someone said that the quality of the RunCam split is less than the Yi, which I don't know, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, the biggest thing I think with the RunCam split is it's going to be a very good, like, a better way to record racing footage and stuff like that, because you're not really adding much weight. You've put a GoPro on there, it's a very heavy thing to add to your quad, where RunCam split is just it's much better than DVR, I would assume. So Carlos wants to know best prop for freestyle. I like the butter cutters. I like the old school HQ 5x4x3s, and I like the V1S 5x4.3x3, but they're coming out with a 5x4.6 that could potentially take the place of that. Robbie is asking if I've seen the VHS movie, and I have, but the sequels were crap. So the first VHS was good, the rest of them were kind of meh. Okay, so this JTB man says that you guys should wait for the split version 2 because there's a lot less issues and the latency is better. I think he means the latency is better. Thanks, man. Guillermo says nice plane video. Did I say that right? I feel like I'm horrible at pronunciation, but thank you. I'm gonna say he says Eagle 2 or Swift. I haven't flown the Eagle 2 yet, but I hear that the Eagle had more latency than the Swift. Huh?
It's so hard to get on with all the hair.
You didn't get it on?
I can't because it keeps pulling my hair.
Well, you're supposed to put it like that. You're supposed to. Okay, so here I'm gonna show you. So when you put it on, you put your hands in here, get it inside the neck, and then you split it apart and then put it over. So your hands kind of keep, you know what I mean, kind of keep the walls from like pulling on your hair when you pull it down. Try it, and if not, then it is much easier. Well, put a beanie on.
You don't have any.
I don't. Go look in the living room on the chair. Don't I have a Star Wars beanie in there? Not that I like Star Wars or anything. Not to be, you know, uncool for a minute. Have I listened to a 5-finger death punch? That sounds incredibly familiar, but I can't say offhand. Yeah, the Swift and the Swift 2 are good. I've actually got the Swift 2 Mini coming in the mail, and I'm going to test it out with my new frame and make sure that the mini cameras work good on it. And yeah, dangerous. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars whatsoever. I actually am not really that big of a Star Wars fan, but I like Star Wars apparel, if that makes sense. So if I see like a Star Wars cup, I'm like, yes, I need that in my life, but I'm not like a super gung-ho Star Wars fan, if that makes sense. It doesn't really make sense, but it does in my mind. House on Haunted Hill was kind of a... House on Haunted Hill was kind of like it was entertaining, it just wasn't like a great movie, you know what I mean? Dirty Dancing, scariest movie ever. I would say there's a lot more scary movies than that, for sure. Wait, what'd you say, finger? Fingal for Marketing 101, they have you hooked. What do you mean by that? I don't get it. X Belson, what's up, dude? Or what up, biggin? I do remember that scene. Some guy said it. Did you get it on, babe? That's because you do have a large head.
It's hard to see.
Why is your head so big, baby?
Because I have a beanie on.
Come in here and say hey to everyone.
Hello.
He's trying to hide your, okay.
Yeah.
Just hide, okay.
Asian people have like, hey, no, I have this really fat beanie, winter beanie on under here.
What's going on over there?
Ah.
So you're supposed to wear, you know, the little ski things that kind of make your mouth black? You're supposed to wear that. That way, when you open your mouth, it's like black in there and you don't see your mouth.
Here, baby, give me all the kisses.
What are you
This is the
doing?
type of stuff he likes, you guys.
Now I want to see her get this off without pulling all of her hair out. Oh gosh, you guys.
Is it gonna be hard to get off?
Oh, you're an alien forever.
No.
So the funny story behind the it looks like fiddlesticks. It kind of does. What's wrong with you? Oh God, it looks weird when it's coming off, like it's all like morphine and shit. So the thing about that is, I was working on a
So heavy.
really get it all dirty.
Dropped it. Well, maybe if your floor wasn't so dirty.
No, it still would have gotten fibers all over it. But anyway, the story behind this creature was I was working on a film about a widowed, a woman that recently became a widow, and she wanted to buy a house in the country. And I did the whole script and everything, and I was trying to figure out the monster, and I figured that this would be really cool. Anyway, so she buys this house in the country, and obviously an older home, and she keeps hearing things at night, and weird things keep happening around the house, and it turns out that this creature is living behind the walls in her house. And there's all kinds of cool stuff. But anyway, I may still get back into that. I don't know. You should make a mask like the sloth from the Goonies. I think that's a good idea. Rocky Road? What? Baby Ruth. God, Goonies was awesome. Let's see. Aaron asked, do I have a day job? Yeah, I still work on video games, and I am going to work on video games after I watch a movie tonight. So I usually work at night and fly during the day. So that's how it works out. Yeah. So I usually work till about 3 in the morning and wake up around noon, and I fly and do other stuff. Yeah, it kind of, look, okay, so this guy just brought up Mortal Kombat, and the guy kind of looks like Baraka. If you guys, you know, the guys with the blades for the hands, it kind of looks like Baraka, not gonna lie. I'm not on a crunch time. Chris Simpson, what's your skills? What's your skills, bro? You want me to hire to make games? What's your skills? I actually do have a scarecrow now that you mentioned fiddlesticks. What 3D modeling program should I use for modeling game objects? I was never a modeler, but we used lots of Maya and 3ds Max, 3D Studios Max. And then some people say Maya, I say Maya. And then there's another one too that like some people use. I can't remember. I have one short horror movie that I have on YouTube, but I think it might be private. Did you know that Sharpoo has done a lot of short horror films that were done very well? Oh, okay. So Audiodesk bought Maya, so I'm assuming that that's no way. So I've heard, you know, from when I was working with artists and stuff that 3ds Max was better for like actual content creation, but Maya was better for animation. I think. And I may have that backwards, but one of them was better than the other for animating. I can't remember which one it is. And I was gonna say Blender, but I didn't know if that was still a thing because like 8 years ago that was like the indie, you know, 3D object creator. I didn't know if they were still around, so I wasn't gonna recommend it. Can't recommend something if I don't know if it's still around. What up, Quad Talk? Okay, so it was confirmed that Maya is much better at animation. So most of the animators I ever worked with did prefer Maya. How hard was your first 3D plane versus a quad build? My first 3D plane was a foam plane, so it wasn't too much harder than a quad. It's kind of like a quad, but with one propeller and servos instead of speed controller. No, there is a speed controller. One motor, one speed controller, and then servos to move the surfaces. It's pretty easy. Which airline? I don't know what airline Stingy flies for. Plus, I don't know how much of his personal information I should talk about, so I would rather not say. So I apologize for that. I just don't like talking about other people's personal life. I don't know what they want and what they want me to say and what they don't want me to say. Michael, thanks for another live stream. I'm currently taking care of a relative suffering from cancer. Oh, that sounds serious. Hang on. I'm currently taking care of a relative suffering from cancer, and when I can't fly, this is one of the few things that actually work to relax. Well, thank you. I'm very sorry for. I just can't even imagine having to deal with that. I haven't actually had any cancer in the family, thankfully, and I hope that whoever this individual is recovers quickly and doesn't have to suffer. And I'm glad that I could put on some kind of entertainment to make anything easy for anyone. I actually have depression issues too, so not relating that to cancer at all, but I'm saying, I know what it's like to not be able to get out, and it sucks. So anything you can do to find an outlet is good. I am sorry to hear that. Guillermo, I can't say your name. Guillermo, is that Spanish? I probably sound so American saying that, but apparently his mom is suffering from cancer, and that's horrible to hear. And I hope that that does not last long, and that she conquers it. She comes out like this, probably, most likely. Yeah, depression is a kind of cancer. It's a cancer of the brain that I guess makes you kill yourself as opposed to, yeah. Anyway. I don't have a 3D printer, but I do want one. I want to play around with that so bad, but there's so many things that I want, and I just have to do it one thing at a time. I need to finish this arcade machine. That is the next. In fact, I need to schedule a meeting. Hang on, I'll do that after. I do use Futaba now. I do use Tyrannus, and I also use Spectrum, but primarily because I'm too lazy to change receivers out, so I kind of grab the quad and then look and see what receiver's in it, and then I grab a radio to fly. But most of my things are on Futaba now. I have listened to Avenged Sevenfold. That one is on RetroPie. The big arcade cabinet is on Hyperspin, which is a computer. It's just way nicer. Hyperspin's freaking awesome. So some people want to know why Futaba. Well, there's a couple reasons. So Tyrannus, I was never satisfied with the gimbals, but obviously this was a year and a half ago when there weren't really any gimbal upgrades. Now they have M9 gimbals and the Hall gimbals and all that stuff. So they have gimbal upgrades now. So it's but anyway. I wanted a better feel, because I was kind of flying with some people that flew airplanes, and they had these higher-end Futaba and Spectrum radios. I'm like, man, these things feel way better. It kind of, once you use a higher-end radio, you realize that the Tyrannus feels like a Fisher-Price toy at that point. So Spectrum contacted me and was like, hey, we want to give you a radio. Do you want to try it out? And I was like, okay, cool. So they sent me a DX9, a bunch of receivers, and that's how I started flying Spectrum. And they were fairly responsive too. They were very good at getting me, I'm like, hey man, I need another receiver. I just built a new quad, and they were pretty quick about it. And then they just kind of like fell off. Like the guy that I had contact with. Just I would send emails saying, hey, I need you to replace this. Can you send it? And it would go 2 weeks without him reading the message, and it just got really, they just started slacking on the team management. And then Futaba came in and was like aggressively trying to recruit me. So, and obviously Futaba is very popular in the airplane world, so I couldn't say no. It was like, yeah, let's do it, let's try it out. So they sent me their 18SZ and a bunch of receivers, and I am so glad I did it. That radio is awesome. Like, it is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like putting your hand on I can't even explain. It's super butter. That's all I can explain. Just melted butter on a baby's butt, like this. That's what it feels like. Yeah, so Futaba is getting really aggressive about trying to get into the quadcopter scene. I mean, they're obviously doing well in the airplane scene, and they all, the RC stuff is just a very small part of Futaba. They do a lot of stuff. They do military. They do a lot of RC stuff with military. They do RC stuff with industrials. Like, you'll see the giant cranes that like set up buildings and stuff. They actually operate that on Futaba radios, some of them. So you won't ever see any of those on Spectrum or Tyrannus or anything like that. So Chris Quad asks, on a serious question, have you ever seen anything through your telescope that made you question life, the universe, and everything? So the only thing I've ever done, I've done a couple. I've seen one thing. And it's not creepy or like alien-like or anything. I knew exactly what it was. It was just like more of a cool thing. But if you actually do any kind of reading on space in general, like I'm talking about, I highly recommend you guys, like on your break at work or you're just kind of bored, to pull up and just read some articles on space. Like, just pull up, just read like 10 amazing facts on space, or 10 scary things about space. Like those things, you'll learn a lot about like what's going on out there, and you'll realize that there is a lot more going on in space than there is like in our little planet here. And that kind of stuff makes me question, like black holes, or the concept of white holes and neutron stars, and all kind, I don't know, binary stars. Like, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there that once you read about what they are and how they work, it makes you think about, it's almost hard to believe that something like that exists. Like, it's and that kind of stuff is what makes me question life and everything. But anyway, but the one thing that I saw was I was taking a photograph of Orion Nebula, and I guess where I am in relation to Orion is in the line of the space station. So, and obviously the space station is orbiting the planet so fast that when every now and then it will enter our atmosphere a little bit and cause like this crazy like meteor. It kind of looks like a shooting star. But for an extended period of time. And I picked it up in my telescope because I'm, when you're taking photos of space, it's essentially a time lapse. You'll take a 10-minute shot, and then another 10-minute shot, and another 10-minute shot, like as the object orbits across the sky. And I went and looked, and I saw these weird streaks, and I decided to put them all together like a flip book. And I was like, because I was trying to figure out what it was, and you could see the space station going through the very center of my shot all the way through. I thought that was really cool, but I knew exactly what it was. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's a spaceship. I haven't seen God's Eye Nebula. I don't know if that's a nickname. Is there another nickname for it, or an official name for it? What RXTX is good if we want to use Futaba? I use the 2001 SB, which is their standard. That's what the SB stands for, is S-Bus. It's their standard S-Bus receiver, and it works just like a Tyrannus. It's just inverted S-Bus signal. So the columns of creation are from the Eagle Nebula, is what it's called. Yeah, and it's available. It's viewable in the summer or late summer. Unfortunately, I have to kind of point my telescope towards Atlanta, so I have to kind of shoot through a bunch of light pollution to see it. But I have actually seen it. I've taken a few shots of it. Yeah, it's kind of weird looking. If you ever do see the space station kind of cruising through So in my photo, it was actually like a long streak because it's, you know, it's taking a shot over time. So if you see like a white light go across the screen over time, it makes a trail, right? Based on the exposure and stuff, or the shutter speed. And if you look at it with your eye, it just looks like a little, like, it almost looks like someone's taking a laser pointer, but it's orange, and they're going across the sky with it. It's weird. It's just like this dot that's moving through the sky at a very high speed. Yeah, it actually happens on anyway. Yeah, the space station's a really cool thing. If you guys ever do have time, it does pass into our ozone layer fairly often, like a couple times a night, and you should check it out. Just go out there and see when it happens. But this just so happened to do it like right in the middle of my telescope view, and I was like, "What is this like crazy streak that I keep seeing?" Yeah, it's moving very, very fast. Okay, Puppet Master. I've got one more question. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions, and I gotta go because she'll end up killing me. I promised her movie night. We don't want to make her. You know what it's like. You know, happy wife, happy life. They say. Let's see. Do I smoke weed? No, I did when I was 18 though. Can you tell anything? Can you tell us anything new from race flight on the horizon? What can I say? I don't know what I can and can't say. New ESC stuff. I'll just leave it super generic. New ESC stuff that's gonna blow minds. New flight controller stuff that's gonna blow minds. And there's actually a couple more like really big things, but I can't even vaguely tell you what it is, or it will give it away. So I apologize for that. Kevin J. Woods, any good drone supply store in Atlanta? I go to Atlanta Hobby sometimes, but they are always out of stock of everything. They usually have HQ props and you know, basic things. I think they have my flight controller there too, but you know, they're usually just out of stock, so I'd hate to recommend them, but even though I love everyone there. Alright. Got a couple more questions. Let's do this. Grayson Hobby, they do actually have a lot of stuff, but I've never actually physically been in there, so I don't know what their stock is like. Before you leave, what Futaba do you recommend? I'm assuming you're talking about the radio. They have a 14 channel. I can't remember. I think it's like the SG or H something. I don't know. SHG or something. That's what Johnny and Wild Willie use. I fly the 18 channel touchscreen because I was going to use it with my airplanes too. Obviously in quads you don't need something that crazy. But the 14 channel one has really good feeling gimbals too, and that one's around the same price as the Spectrum DX9, so it's reasonable, you know. It's like, I think it's around the $600 range, but it's worth every penny, I'm telling you right now. My favorite quad to date is this one right here. Hang on, I gotta put my I need to put my alien over there. Hang on a second. This one. Let me tell you about it. So this is my favorite quad to date. It's my frame, obviously, and I'm running my flight controller, and I'm running the Raceflight bolts, which is the all-in-one BL Heli ESC setup. So I have 2 capacitors here on the front arms. I may do 4, but 4 is kind of overkill. I'm running my new 2206 motors on it, and I'm running the old school Skitzo 5x4x3 props, and I'm blowing my mind with it on a daily basis. So that is my absolute favorite quad. If I could clone this 50 times in its exact state, I would do it. Alright, well, I was thinking of... So he said that it's $550 for the Futaba and the DX9 is $450, but I use the black, which is $500, so whatever. Kind of the same price. But I'm telling you right now, this Futaba is superior gimbals. So, oh, you noticed the capacitors. Okay, so this is the capacitors are something that you should be doing, and it's common in electronics, and it filters a lot of noise I'm going to try to explain this really quick. So, and this one, and like since I'm doing all in one, I'm able to put the capacitors here on the arms. But when I have ESCs out on the arms, I'll put them on the PDB itself. Usually have one sticking out here and one sticking out here. And so how it works is when you're actually shooting, I'm going to explain this in the most layman's terms possible. But when these guys are demanding power, you're sending power through the ESC, right? So whenever you're going to brake, or when active braking kicks in, that actually sends a surge of power back into the electrical system, aka through the PDB, and it causes a lot of noise for the gyro. And you can't get rid of that. Like every quad does that, and you don't have to use them. You can tune around it. You can raise your filters and things like that. There's things you can do to make it fly fine without capacitors. But when you run capacitors, you're able to bring your filtering down to an ultra low level. Like my filters are almost non-existent on this quad because, well, for one, these motors are very smooth, but the capacitors themselves are eating up a lot of the interference that's coming back into the system. So, and it also, if you're running capacitors, your ESCs will never catch on fire. So, assuming you don't have like a positive and negative wire touch or something crazy like that. I'm running a multiple 470 UF. Build that as a bind and fly. That's what I'm going to do. I think I'm actually working with Raceflight on ESC stuff, so I don't want to, I'm not going to design my new frame around that, but I am going to kind of figure out what I think is the ultimate quad, and I'm going to make a ready to fly version of it and sell them. Goggle receiver, I am using the, what am I using? The Furious module. I had zero problems with it. I know some people are like, screw that, I like the LaForge, but yeah, so if you're going to run a larger UF, if you're going to run a larger capacitor, you know, you can run small, like a couple small ones. In fact, the best place to put the capacitor is on the ESC themselves, because that's right where the source is. That's the source of the problem when it comes back in. So you can do 4 little ones on each ESC, or you can do like one big one on the battery rail, or voltage rail, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the price will be in the quad. It'll probably be around $550 if I had to put a guess on it. I don't know though. I have to kind of talk to Lumineer on how much it will cost to source everything, you know. All right, one more question. Love you guys. I would hang out longer. Actually, I do want to hang outside more, but I got to get to the lady. So. Okay, Michael is asking, are you still planning on having a run of Skitzo quads built and tuned by you? My building skills are somewhat limited to an injury. I'm sorry to hear that. Then I would be happy. Wait, hang on. I'd be more than happy to buy one direct. Yeah, so I am considering. I don't know if I'm going to do a limited run. I am going to do a really cool hydro dipped version of my new frame that will be a ready to fly. That will be a limited run. I'll probably only do like 100 of them total. But I am going to build the first few of them, and I probably won't build all of them. But I will be tuning and test flying each one of them. So it's kind of like I'm going to put it together, and I'll probably have a couple people, because I don't have the time to just sit here and build all the time. So I'll probably have a couple people that I trust building them exactly like I do, and then I'm going to test each one of them and tune each one of them before they leave. So yes, Panasonic is the best capacitor. If you can get Panasonic, I think you can get them on Amazon. That is definitely one of the better quality capacitors. Good night, guys. Love you all. Hopefully we got some more questions answered, but like I said, I'll do this every Tuesday night. And sorry for starting a little later. I think I started at 9:30 instead of 9. In fact, I have the worst memory ever. And Autumn walked in and she was like, I was working on my a new video game, and she was like, "Aren't you supposed to do a live stream now?" And I was like, "Oh crap!" So I apologize for that. Anyway, guys, go rip this week. Have a lot of fun. I will see you next week, and I hope you have more questions for me. And it's fun hanging out with you guys. So. All right. Peace out. Love you guys.